wanted to talk about the Ashley Banfield interview, and I wanted to
Yes.
you emailed that man, didn't you, the reporter?
Yes. So I sent him a message because I think most of us were like, wait a minute, I've heard a lot of this before. So he did respond back to me. He is with the Daily Mail and he does a lot of the crime for them. And he did respond back to me and he said, yeah, a lot of the letters they wrote or they read on this program are old. He said, but he got his hands on some new letters from other women, which I don't really think they even mentioned much in this segment, but he really has no control of what News Nation decides to put together for that package. But they kind of highlighted old letters, right? Probably because they were the juiciest letters.
Well, I mean, there's so many women that have written them. I mean, I have had somebody on that has written Chris Watts, and so I mean, and there's news reports out there that yeah, he's writing to women. What else does he have to do? And there's also news reports out there that not only is he writing to women, but the prisoners around him are probably making him write to women so that he can fleece them. So because he's being fleeced himself. So yeah.
And he's got to get money on that books, right?
Yeah, right. All right, so I just jumped right into it. I didn't even introduce you. This is you guys, I am still going through this major autoimmune flare, so my mind is not in the game. I just want it to be really light and kind of like it's very unstructured tonight and just kind of getting my toes wet again because this flare up has been so bad. It's been such a bad one. I can't hardly think. And so Jennifer is from Crafted Evidence. So Jennifer, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I'm going to stream from both of our channels, Amy. So I'll pull some comments too from my side. But you know, I am a former journalist. I'm outside of Atlanta and just relaunched my YouTube page probably a month ago talking about crime. And I also do crafting, like laser engraving, things like that. So I thought it would be fun to combine doing crafting while talking about crime cases. So I know a lot about how to dig for information, how to request police reports. And the Watts case is just something that I've always followed, but never could really publicly speak about. Because when you are a journalist, it is not really ethical to be making YouTube videos talking about your opinion. So that's why I've kind of come out and decided to chat on YouTube now. Just like Amy, I have an autoimmune disease called multiple sclerosis. And I have my bad days, guys. Sometimes I'm laying around in bed. 2 years after that, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. So it's just been a whirlwind of health issues. But to find some joy again, I came on YouTube and I'm meeting all these cool new creators like Amy.
Yeah, it's really healing actually coming over on YouTube. I'm finding it's helping getting my mind back on track and getting it into a structured way of thinking. And so YouTube has done a lot for me in helping me heal, I think.
Yeah, it's really cool because you feel like you have like a little family, you know, of people you chat with.
Well, I haven't gotten to that point yet because I'm just so super guarded. I've gone through so much that I'm super guarded. I'm trying to let my guard down and let people in.
Yeah.
But I haven't quite gotten to the family atmosphere. I am trying for it, but I just
I get what you mean, but you know, I'm sure you have your regulars who jump in your chat and
oh yeah, for sure.
that's what I mean by family. You know, it's
gotcha.
you know, I have several people actually who are going through cancer who also love true crime. So we talk about that and they jump in there and I get to get an update on how they're feeling and how they're doing. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it is a good way to stay in touch with those around us. Because I know tonight we're streaming to you over on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hi, everyone. Be sure to give us a thumbs up or a like on whichever platform you're on. And I know that I have a lot of like my friends over on Facebook that catch up with what I'm doing through what I stream. So um, it is a
Yeah,
good way
and
to
I'm
catch up with
putting
them
in
that
my
way.
chat for I have a couple people watching on my side. If you guys don't follow Amy already, please go over and check out her videos. They're really awesome.
Oh, thank
And
you. And do the same for Jennifer. Okay, so Jennifer, let's pull up the screen and have you seen this? I've seen bits and
yes.
pieces of it. I don't know if I've
Oh,
watched it all the way through, but
yeah. So he said that there were new letters. He continues to follow the case. But I think what he meant by new letters is that he finally physically got his hands on the letters. But, the producers kind of structured this as there are these new letters out there, if that makes sense.
yeah, he's definitely trying to angle it like he's going to start releasing letters, which like I could angle it where I could start releasing letters because there's letters
Right.
out there that we've all, like Angela from Angela's Aging Essentials has letters that she's written that we've shown on the show. There's other people, news articles that have come out where people have released letters. There's even the thumbnail that I threw up was a letter that Chris Watts released. So he's been writing women. I just don't think it's like a big like, ooh, Chris is writing women. Like we already knew that Chris was writing
Right.
women.
And that's what I kind of was bummed about because um, being a former journalist, I feel like it's important to be transparent with people. People have lost a lot of faith in the media, because now we have platforms like TikTok and X where you can see news happen in real time. And this segment made me feel like they were kind of deceiving people, but people who are on Watts Island, we all know that majority of these letters were in Dylan Tolman's book. So
Yeah.
I, did a video where I wanted to just clarify, hey, you guys, this is not new. And then I also reached out to the Daily Mail reporter that is going to be in this clip and just said like, hey, what's new? What's going on? And he made it sound like he just finally physically got his hands on the letters.
Mm. Mm. Well, I mean, the Watts Island story is a big story. So I see people that even Annie Elise swings back to the Watts story when stuff gets slow on her channel. So,
Yes.
you know. All right, so here we go. This is News Nation and Banfield reporting on this. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up, guys. Helps us dance out into the algorithm. Party out there. Bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me out, and it's really, really appreciated.
Chris Watts has decided he is not to blame for what happened to Shanann and to Bella and to Celeste and his unborn son. Nope. The women in his life are to blame. The Daily Mail just got its hands on some letters written by Watts at the Dodge Correctional Institute. That is a maximum security prison in central Wisconsin, where he was sent. And he has been there for the last 6 years. The letters show a man determined to find anyone.
I always thought that Jeffrey Dahmer was in the same prison as Chris Watts. I never knew that
Wisconsin. Yeah, I
Jeffrey
think he
Dahmer.
was, right? I'm
No,
gonna
I
Google it
always
now
thought
while
he
we're
was,
watching.
but he wasn't. He was in some other prison in Wisconsin because I did a live the other. I had an interview and I mentioned it, and then I got so many comments down there that said no, Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't. I was like, yeah, he is, and I even like Googled it, and then when I looked, it's like some of the reports say he was, but then some of them say he was in some other completely different prison than him. So, but I
It
always thought he
says
was.
Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so, I
Okay.
mean and then I Googled, "Was he ever at Dodge Correctional?" I don't
Yeah.
even think he ever was, so I don't know. That must have been a rumor that got spread somewhere. Obviously, it was a rumor.
One but himself responsible for his diabolical behavior. He actually addressed his letters to God, zip code unknown. And he first unloads on his mistress, Nicole Kessinger, writing this: I was misled. I was tempted by a harlot. I was weak, and I allowed myself to be fooled by an evil woman. She led me from the path of righteousness. I know that you will deal with her someday. She will be judged. You know my heart, Lord. I am a man after your heart. I seek your face. I allowed her to sway me. FYI, Nicole Kessinger told the police that she was dating a man who told her that he was separated and divorcing. But then when his wife and children disappeared, she got very scared and she called the police immediately, leading to his arrest.
Not Bamfield defending Nicole Kessinger.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't know how deeply they dive into watching all of those police interviews. You know, they just kind of watch clips here and there. And like we were just texting each other, you got to look at the big picture to really see what's going on.
Yeah, I can't even hardly watch things sometimes when I know the whole picture and they focus in on one thing that's wrong and then they make that whole story around that one wrong thing, and I'm like, nope, can't watch it. It makes it all wrong.
Yes.
But this isn't one of those things because I feel like she's just trying to go in hard on Chris, so whatever. I do too.
But Watts doesn't stop with Nicole Kessinger. No. He unloads on other women, too, mostly unnamed women, calling them harlots and Jezebels and whores. And, of course, he blames his pregnant wife for being domineering and self-absorbed, suggesting that she caused her own death. I think I just threw up in my mouth. What is weird is that he doesn't seem to have it in for all women, because plenty of his letters are addressed to female pen pals. And get this, he seems to be looking for a new wife.
Oh, is he?
My
really?
next guest broke this story. Steve Helling is a senior reporter with the Daily Mail. He is top.
Has it been reported that he's looking for a new wife?
Here's what I think she means. He wants to find love again. Of course he does, right? He's been in there for 6 years, which is interesting because in his book with Sherilyn Cadle, he said, I'll never have love again. And I thought, well, that's really interesting for you to say because you damn well know you're going to start writing people and you're going to fall in love again and you're going to experience that emotion. So what I think in these letters, he's kind of saying like, I was a bad person, but I deserve to find love again.
I wonder if, like, I've never actually thought of the prospect of Chris Watts getting married again. Like, I don't know why that's never crossed my mind, but it really hasn't. It kind of makes me throw up a little bit.
And there's a lot of people probably interested, right? I mean, look at the letters.
Yeah. Wow. That's gonna rent
but I
space
picture
in my head for a while.
Kind of like Wade Wilson, where the more, prison wives that you're writing, the more attention you're getting, the more, good vibes, good feelings he's going to get every day, because you got to think about his mental state in there. Probably writing several women makes him feel good because he's got different things going on. So I really don't picture him pinning down one person and being committed, but I don't know. He did have a girlfriend named Anna for a while that was on the visitors log. So I'm not sure Anna Novak if they're still together or not, but she was on there for a while.
Yeah, I don't know who his current girlfriend is. I don't know that. I do see him as writing a few people, but keeping a main squeeze, making them one, like, or maybe two, making two think that they're the main ones.
Yeah,
or
the main babe.
Yeah. But yeah, and if he were to get married, that seems like that would maybe squash his ability to,
Commissary.
commissary,
His
his
commissary.
Kanban
I
commissary,
guess.
yes. And I did read that they're now getting tablets, and well, they're slowly unveiling tablets. They haven't gotten to Chris's prison yet, but they're coming.
Wow.
So, I mean, he's going to need to have money for his tablet and shit. So.
That will be interesting. I wonder if they are only allowed to have them for a certain amount of hours during the day. Because I'll tell you, if he can use that thing 24/7, he's living the life. That's not even like prison, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to find somebody, an ex inmate, and have them on because all the inmates and all the guards that I've had on, they were like pre-tablet days, so I don't really
Yeah.
know. I don't have the scoop on the tablets yet. I do remember watching a Jodi Arias thing, and she had a tablet and she was talking on a camera phone. So Jodi
Wow.
Arias is definitely living the life. So
I didn't even think about that, doing video chats. Like
Mhm.
FaceTiming with people, you are literally living the life.
Yeah. I think Chris pretty much enjoys. I mean, I'm sure there's some pretty unpleasant aspects of it, but I think he likes the structure, the not really
Mm-hmm.
having to worry about money too much. I think it's once his parents start like crossing over onto the next plane or wherever, whatever you believe in, when they start passing away, I think that's when he's going to start having to worry about life a little bit more. So,
It's interesting you brought that up because in Sherilyn's book, he mentioned a part in the chapter about it really hit him for the first time when he was reading this book about the rules of the prison, and it said you are not allowed to leave for a funeral. You may be able to watch a recorded clip of a funeral. And Chris said, boom, like that was the first time I realized, like, this is for real and I'm here forever and I'm not going to be there at my mom and dad's funeral.
yeah. Yeah, somebody I was talking about Nicole Kessinger and her being caught on that recorded
Yeah.
funeral. Is that what you just said?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm
Oh,
talking
okay,
about.
sorry. Because you said yeah, and I didn't know if I had I was saying the
No,
same.
yeah. I mean, I think it didn't hit Chris that this is life in prison. I think he's in denial a lot sometimes. But in the book, he said when he read that, I won't be able to go to a funeral. It really hit him like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to my dad's funeral. I'm not going to
Ah,
my
yeah,
mom's funeral. And so that's when it really hit him that, like, whoa, this is life in prison. This is not, like the
yeah.
men, right? They have a chance
Yeah.
at it out.
Yeah. And then just thinking of Nicole Kessinger getting spotted on a camera at a recorded funeral.
Yes.
And then people were saying, well, it was because, during COVID, they had to do those such things and they were forced to. And now you're saying like Chris is like bummed that that's what his life is going to be like. So I actually take a little
It's
pleasure in that.
really common.
I
I
take some
guess
pleasure.
it's just an extra charge you pay. And then the funeral home will restream it for you. And that way people don't have, I mean, you have a lot of elderly people who can't drive, but they want to watch the service. And,
Yeah.
you mentioning that after we finish this clip, I would love to talk about that because someone leaked that footage. It is not a cell phone camera shot of Nicole. That is the live stream from the funeral home.
Yeah, the funeral home played it from their channel.
Website. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and when I went to look at it, it's not there anymore. So I don't know.
They probably put it down on private, right?
Yeah.
Because then someone leaked it though.
Well, yeah.
So let's see I cannot remember this gentleman's name, this reporter.
I don't know.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
His
But
name is Steve.
Steve. Yeah, Hellings. Steve Hellings.
Top notch in true crime. He's a friend of the show and he's a good friend of mine. Steve, I should have called you for a drink before you came on the air as opposed to going for drinks after work because I couldn't unclench my teeth while reading your piece. So just start with what else you've got on what he writes about women.
I should have warned you, first of all. Let's start there.
Yeah.
I got my hands on these letters. I've seen a lot of his letters. I know his handwriting. I know his writing style. And the thing about Chris Watts is that he couches everything that he writes in this spiritual Christianity type of thing that isn't like any Christianity that I know, that basically he doesn't take personal.
It's jailhouse religion. That's what that is.
Yep.
I have worked with mates, and that's what that is.
They said he read the Bible within 2 weeks. Like, Chris is highly intelligent,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he's read it a couple times, but when you're that smart and you can recite biblical verses, you can also persuade people to think you're religious because you're spewing out these Bible verses, right?
Yeah.
I wonder, is he really religious, or is this act?
Oh, it's a complete act, in my opinion. He's a psychopath, in my opinion. So
Absolutely.
It's a complete act. He's a stupid psychopath. So, but he's very smart. He's one of those psychopaths that doesn't have common sense.
Right.
Yeah. Ugh.
Responsibility. He was always tempted. He was always weak. Somebody was always pulling him aside, and that somebody was always a woman. She was a whore. She was a harlot. She tempted me with her soft words and with her lips. It makes me think, can you take any responsibility whatsoever for what you did? And it seems like you can't.
Turns out no. Yeah, so he says in a letter that you got your hands on, quote, "The lips of an immoral woman may be smooth, but no amount of paint on her face can disguise her evil heart." So now
he just really thinks he's a poet, and I know he's getting this from somewhere. He copies lyrics. He's got some kind of chat GBT somewhere, because Chris is not writing this shit.
Think about the fact that, like, even when he wrote Nicole's birthday card, he had to Google the lyrics or love poems and like he couldn't even authentically come up with something to say to her like, "Hey, I think you're beautiful," right? Like, he had to Google, what does love feel like, or how soon is it to say I love you. It's like he was so didn't know how to like think for himself.
He actually is very smart. He's just not emotionally
smart. Is that the way we should put it?
He's book smart. He's just not street smart. He's an idiot.
I think I like the term street smart. Yeah. Or I guess maybe some people call it emotional intelligence.
Yeah. I've said emotional. I've said it emotionally. He's just, I don't like Chris at all. I have no problems with going hard on Chris. I don't know. I think there's some people that try to fight for him, but
yeah, Chris is fair game for, what I do try to be, for those on your channel who may not know me, I do try to be fair and balanced and look at both sides of each, case. But what he did, he's fair game. I'm sorry.
Chris is an idiot.
I'm gonna criticize him.
An idiot, and I just one of my favorite channels to watch. She doesn't do anything anymore, but was I Swear Kimberly. She used to go in hard for Chris, and it just gave me. It was just like really satisfied me. So. Timeless Mystery says, I imagine lots of new letters are going to be sent to CW. Hey, Robert, I've been really sick this week, so I've done nothing we've talked about, just so you know. So, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
If you guys don't follow Rob, I collab with him a lot. Go ahead and give him a follow. Amy, we definitely will have to do a collab with all three of us. I just figured since this is the first time you and I are going live, it's always easy to do it just two people because you do kind of have to learn a person, like Rob and I talk over each other a lot because of the lag. But you got to kind of like go one-on-one before you I think, add a whole quad of people to a conversation.
Oh, well, also I don't feel good. I couldn't
Yeah.
manage to something like that on my own. So I have an autoimmune and it's just really flaring bad. So we're not gonna go long tonight either.
Yeah.
'Cause
That's
I
why I was trying to get it on my laptop so that I could text you and just say, when you start feeling bad, you wind it down and let me
Oh,
know.
okay. I'm really
But
jealous
yeah,
that you got that nice little nap because her and you're
I
somebody that I've started to really enjoy talking to because like when you get somebody that they just kind of get it, they get it, you get
I
it,
get it.
and
Yeah.
I'm in a stage now where I'm not able to sleep, like I'm so exhausted, but my anxiety's so high it won't let me sleep, and I'm just so
I know.
jealous because she's like, I had a nice little refreshing nap. I'm gonna bathe the kiddos and I'll be right there, and I'm like, God, I wish I could do all of that. I
Well,
wish I could nap and have a bath.
it's just a good week, and you guys who are the healthies on I call them my crafties, who like my crafties and my healthies on there. Amy and I are going to do like a whole separate episode where we talk about health, because it is so important to me to talk about these things.
Yeah.
So many people look at us on the outside and are like, you don't look sick, and it's hurtful because on the inside you feel like you're 80 years old.
Yeah. Well, I just can't think right now. I'm
Brain
really
fog.
having a hard time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brain fog.
I want to do stuff, but I just can't. There's stuff I have to address and I can't address it. I can't even look at it to address it. So I'm just doing other stuff.
And your health is number one.
Yeah.
If you cannot pour from an empty cup, it's
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's go back into Chris Watts and finish this up.
Oh, I guess it's the makeup's fault for what he did. But he doesn't seem to hate all women. He seems to really want a new one. What is the story about the search for a wife? Is there anybody who's actually interested?
Well, I mean, we see this all the time. Chris Watts is not a bad-looking person. And, there's always going to be somebody who's interested in him. And so there are women that write to him and he writes back. He's actually very good at corresponding. And of course, a lot of the times he's just talking about, it's a lot of spiritual stuff that he talks about, a lot of Christianity, a lot of God, a lot of Jesus. But then, he'll sometimes talk about himself and be like, I'm misunderstood. And, I was a good father.
He also sneaks in things. Remember when he got in trouble when he was like, he was sending that woman, send me your panties or something.
oh my gosh, I didn't hear about that one.
Oh, you didn't? It was
no.
It was like I was reading it. I was reading it on a live, and it was like, send me those panties right now. I get wet. And I was like, oh, or something like that. It was just like and he got written up for it. So
yeah, I haven't seen any like the dirty letters. I've just seen more of these. I wasn't a good husband, but I'm a good man, those kind of letters, or the overly religious, God forgives me, that kind of thing. I'm going to have to dig for the letter. Well,
maybe
another one after we finish this.
it's the same thing.
Have you heard about the Reddit post where the guy found his girlfriend's stash of Watts letters?
No.
Okay, we'll get to that after you finish this clip.
Oh wait, maybe have I? I don't know. All right, let's finish this.
A good person until something happened, but I'm still a good person. So, it's interesting what he'll say to these women. And, a lot of these women, they do fall for it. They do think, well, maybe he's changed. Maybe he's a better person than I thought he was.
I want to pop that piece back up there. We just had it up on the screen, but I want to read it. It was this business about being a good person. I'm barfing in my mouth. He says, I was a good husband and father. Things happened. Things happened. And I am no longer a good husband and father, but I am still a good man.
Yeah.
Is this something he wrote to someone in particular?
He doesn't want anybody to think he's a bad person. And I think
Oh my
it's
God.
one of the reasons why he went as far as he did with his father. He really doesn't want his father to think he's a bad person.
Yeah. I mean, to the point where he did not want his coworkers to go out to that site because he was more worried about what they thought about him versus the law enforcement. And you know, like, in anyone
Yeah.
else there. I have this theory that they did want Chris. I don't know if you recall, they asked him to go out there to show him and to show them where the bodies are. I have this theory that Chris didn't want to go out there because he wouldn't have shown emotion, and that would make him look bad. And I have this feeling that it has nothing to do with, it was too hard for me to go out there. I think it was, he knew he wouldn't show emotion and it would make him look like the monster he is.
Mm. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
Trying to convince her that he'd be her knight in shining armor?
He wrote this to a woman. And, I really, when I read it, I thought, things happen. I mean, things happen like it starts to rain. That's something that.
It's like, shit happens. My family ended up dead. Whatever.
It's just a regular day annihilation. No big deal.
Yeah. It's a natural chain of events. I'm not a bad person.
Right.
Happens. What doesn't generally just happen is that you strangle your wife, smother your children, and bury their bodies in an oil field. That's not something just happening. So it just kind of shows, even his choice of words, that none of this is his fault. He didn't do anything. It just kind of happened.
Oopsie.
Yeah, boy, I'll say. He doesn't even acknowledge any of the evil that he committed, it seems.
Thanks for watching. Go to join NN.
Okay, so that's all the clip I have of this.
So, Amy, Rob and I did a live stream the other day. And if you guys don't follow him, he's Timeless Mysteries. Actually, he just dropped a good video today to go check out, you guys, if you haven't. But so Rob and I did this live stream. I love Reddit. I don't know if you do, but I love Reddit. Came across this post just by searching Watts' name. And it is a guy, and he was on the relationship forum, and he was seeking advice. He did not drop Chris's name, but everything sounds like it's Chris Watts. So he said he was at his girlfriend's house. He wasn't feeling good. He had some type of accident. He was sick. He was looking for towels. And he goes in the cabinets and found some old towels. While he was doing that, he found this box of letters. And curiosity got the best of him, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're letters from Chris Watts. Now,
they're letters from Chris Watts. Are they signed Chris Watts?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So they're signed from Chris Watts. However, he cannot see what she wrote him. Now, this guy is saying on Reddit, he's asking for advice from people because he says, A, I was snooping and I shouldn't have been. B, these letters are from before the two of them started dating. So he feels bad bringing it up to her and making her feel guilty about it. But his concern was, should I be worried that she was writing him? Well, yeah, dude. The fact that and the letters were romantic.
I think I found it.
Yes, on Reddit.
Yeah, I think I did.
So he was seeking advice from people on what to do. Yeah, that's it. I know this could be made up, but I'm sure this has happened to people. And it's very interesting because the fact that she's writing him and is okay with what he did, I do think the guy should be concerned. But he goes on in this letter to say how much he loves her, but he doesn't know to confront her or not about it.
So funny because they're like immediately guessing, is it Chris
Oh,
Watts?
yeah, yeah. They're like, it's Watts, it's Watts, it's got to be Watts. And I give the guy props for not, name dropping it. And then people are like, show us the letters. And, and of course he's not going to do that. It's his girlfriend. But I think he genuinely was hurt to find that. And then also, like, he's thinking about marrying this girl. So he's wondering,
Well, I would want to know, is this girlfriend religious? Is she religious? That would be my first question to her.
Is she writing him saying, like, God forgives you, the girls are in heaven, which I don't know if you've seen, but a lot of people have written Chris and said, I had dreams about your daughters. They're in heaven. Just want you to know that. And then they won't reply to his messages back. Or, psychics who will write him and say, I've communicated with your family. They're on the other side. And I just have to get this message to you. So yeah, her letters could have been like that. But the guy in this post makes it sound like they were kind of writing these emotional, passionate letters back and forth. But it was before they started dating.
Oh.
So he
well,
can't
this sounds so familiar, this story, because I was just watching a true crime story on Rotten Mango, and she was saying that if you want to snoop out your boyfriend or your partner or whatever, your partner, whoever you're with, to go onto the Reddit, because people just let it all hang out on Reddit. And this person said, something very similar. Like, I decided to do that, and I found out that my boyfriend was a whore and he was sleeping with all these people, but it was before I met him. So what do I do? And he never told me he had, like that kind of thing. So this sounds so familiar. So I don't know. I
feel for this guy too, because it's like, all right, if she does have some type of obsession with, I'm drawing a blank on the term for it, but it's women who, are into, like, not just the bad boy, but the whole, like, prison.
Yeah, there's a name, like, for people that like
murdering. Prison. Yeah, something. And I cannot remember.
Like men behind bars. I can't. I don't even. I should. I know this.
But you get what I know this. You get what I'm saying. There's like a psychological term for that.
Psychological thing. And they prefer people that are on the inside because basically they know where they are and they can control.
Yes, they know they're not coming out. You can never actually, like, physically be hurt by them. It's all an emotional relationship.
Yeah. So I just think that I can't imagine
that too, Amy, just to see if there's anything interesting that people.
He cried when they mentioned coworkers, Carrie B said.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then remember when he texted Cassie and he goes, Cassie, I don't want you to think I'm a bad person. And Cassie had to, like, set him straight and be like, Chris, I don't care about that right now. I want to find your family. Like, he's so self-absorbed about his image that, he's texting Cassie, like, don't think bad about me.
A few times Carrie B, a few times I think they've been married. And, even Wade Wilson, didn't he get married? So, I mean, it's very common.
I don't know. There's so many. Wade was engaged to a man at one point. Joey.
Oh, yeah, right?
You know what, Amy? And we're going to have to do some Wade Wilson calls because there's nothing that makes me, and I know it's not funny because 2 women died.
Yeah.
But nothing cheers me up more than hearing that stupid Wade Wilson laugh. So
whenever I like watching Pablo do the Wade Wilson stuff.
Yeah. And, and a part of, some of these live streams we're going to do, I want to figure out ways we can do, like, raffles where, like, I can make coasters for people and they donate to these nonprofit organizations that help domestic violence victims, things like that. I want to try to figure out ways we can do things to help the victims in these cases.
Yeah.
And by no means do I mean it's funny, but It's funny. It's Wade.
Yeah, I laugh all the time on here. I
Yeah.
just feel like you can't be serious all the
Yeah.
time. So if people
You
get
have.
offended by me laughing,
You know what?
I was watching the Valo trial and her talking about her chicken chili enchiladas had me howling, laughing. And then 2 hours later, I'm watching her son Colby talk about it and I'm crying because it's devastating to that family. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's funny and it's sad. And I mean, that's what true crime is. So.
Yeah. You have to see it. I don't know. You have to kind of see like the light. I think honestly that the victims would even be laughing at like what an idiot he is that he actually thinks he has one of OJ Simpson's lawyers and that he's getting out when he made a full 100% confession on what he did. It's laughable.
I don't know, Carrie B. I am trying to get together a live where we talk about did Chris abuse the girls and Shanann prior to, because I'm getting word that that happened. So I've been trying to do some research. I've been really
Mhm.
slow about it. I just
I will mention this, Amy, because this has also been a big thing I did a video on. There was speculation about a CPS case that was open, and there was, this is why I went and I dug um, to find the report. There is a CPS report. It is not about abuse in that house. Anytime a child dies, a CPS case has to be opened. And the case was opened because Chris killed them.
yeah.
So if you go on the website and search that, yeah, there's an open case, but also the case has been closed and shut down right away.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so that's where that
I
comes.
don't
But
believe for a second that Shanann abused the girls. I'm an ex. I foster. I wasn't a CPS worker. I was contracted under the state under a private company, to work as a foster care social worker, which is like complicated in itself. But I just really, I looked over that and I was like, no, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So.
I do feel, and I don't want to seem like I'm victim blaming or anything like that, but I do feel that, and I've watched some people may not believe in mediums and psychics. That's fine, but I have watched some that say Shanann said she has looked at her life and reflected that maybe there were times where I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, like putting the camera on the
Say
family.
that all the time. I say that all the time.
Yeah,
I believe Shanann only got to be a mom for 4 years, and a mom is on the job training. And I believe that
yeah,
Shanann was one of those people that when she knew better, she did better. And so, I mean, she didn't, people are harsh with Shanann, but I love Shanann and I appreciate who she was. She made mistakes and we talk about those mistakes, but
yeah.
we talk about them in ways that I've even made mistakes. Like if we talk about her bad money management, I'm a horrible money management. I'm trying at my age to try to figure out how to manage money still. So, I mean, we're all learning and growing and trying to do
Yeah.
better. And if we just ignore the glaring things of this case, then we're not doing it justice.
I blame a lot on Thrive too.
Yeah, I
It,
do too.
I think Shanann could have picked so many different companies to work for, and she was going to give 110%. But a part of Thrive was selling this lifestyle that I make my own hours. I am at
Mhm.
home. But you know what? That woman worked more than 40 hours a week because she was constantly having to document her life and show um, what was going on and using, the sicknesses, um, you know, showing their life to show what Thrive can do for you. And they kind of brainwash you. That's why I don't know if you've kind of seen
Mhm.
some of those channels that talk
Mhm.
about MLMs. And
Mhm.
I think Thrive was the worst thing to happen to that family.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I hate it. I wish she would have finished nursing school and she would have been like a
Yeah.
charge. She
It
would have
was a
been boss.
huge problem, and it was a huge problem. It caused so many problems in that marriage and in that family, and I really believe even him slapping all that product on him was making him erratic and doing
Yeah.
things that, yeah.
And you're talking like physically too. Thrive screwed things up physically, and I feel mentally too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And I don't, yeah, yeah. And I think that's one of the things I talk about. And I think it's one of the reasons the rechecks don't really like me is because I will talk about the aspects of the case, but, definitely give my opinion on the matter, but I'm not going to shy away
Right.
from it because it's a case.
Well, also, they talk about it. So
Yeah.
nothing makes me more upset than when people will come on and say, leave this case alone and let them rest. You go to Frankie's channel, he's talking about it. Sandy brings it up while she's doing her cooking channel. They
They go
know.
on other certain creators' channels, so why is it
Yeah,
okay for them to talk about it and not us to talk about it? I don't know.
right. And I
And then I have huge empathy for him too because, like, I can't even imagine having my family wiped out in that way. So,
right,
I think it might grace, but then I also am like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
sure. And I've invited them to, and I've invited Sandy on my channel, and not even to talk about this case. I want to talk to Sandy because her intuitive side to me is amazing. I want
Mm.
to talk about that. And then also I do the crafting, so I want to talk about the cooking. I never heard back from her. I had someone really close to her reach out. And then I did reach out to Frankie, and someone got back to me telling me he is in talks of doing a documentary.
Oh,
So they have it, Money Talks. If you can tell your story and make money off of it, go for it. Do it.
yeah.
So I understand him not wanting to talk to me. I'm also interested in talking to Ronnie Watts because I feel he really loved those grandchildren. And people are really throwing the Watts family under the bus. And I do think that they're hurting just as bad. They were lied to by their son, and I don't think people realize that.
Yeah, they came out a little too hot for me, and I was like really put back. And for a few years, I was like,
And the
yeah,
interview, because
yeah, and I didn't like him, and then as I thought about it, I'm like, well, he just plays them like he plays everyone else, and they're victims, and nobody, there's not a perfect victim, and so I do have great empathy for the Watts now.
give me a rundown on what they did on the other channels, because since then those videos have been taken down and I didn't get to see them, but I saw like they met with the guy from Australia and he gave them, I'm not going to name drop the channel, but
Yeah.
he gave them like jerseys. So
Yeah.
what were they doing? Were they sharing what they've been going through? Were they defending Chris? What were they really doing on those videos?
You'll have to watch them yourself. I don't really want to describe them because I don't want to go in depth over. I just don't. I don't want to summon that over here. So
Okay.
I will give you the links to those.
Oh,
They are still
up.
up. Yes, they
Okay.
are still up. I will
Okay, cool.
direct you
Yeah,
towards
I was
them.
trying to find it. And I'm like, I can't find it. But, I always want, like I said, I want to know both sides to things. And that's why a lot of you, if you're into this case, I really suggest you go on Reddit and you go on some of these Facebook groups because there's people that know this family and they're dishing it out. They're talking about things that happened.
Well, there's free speech. There's free speech over on Rumble, which I appreciate. I don't believe in this taking channels down. I believe in freedom of speech, actually. So if you head over to Rumble, you're going to
Yeah.
catch a lot of what has been taken down over on YouTube.
I'm
So
just getting into Rumble. I just, it's hard because like once you get into comfortable and feel good at one place, like I'm really digging YouTube, it's hard to make the switch and go over there. And like for me, TikTok is too fast. And I feel too old for TikTok too.
yeah,
So
Rumble's a lot like YouTube, though. Rumble's just actually almost exactly like YouTube.
Yeah.
Only you don't have to say the stupid words. Like you don't have to say schmurder and that kind of stuff over on Rumble.
Okay.
Although a lot of people will, and I will air their stuff, their YouTube videos over on Rumble. So I have some stuff over. I've just put some stuff over on Rumble myself.
And so how am I also like, and I feel like this with TikTok, how am I supposed to know the words I'm not allowed to use unless you're putting a guide out to
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
users? Because I don't know, maybe there's words I'm using that I'm getting flagged for and I don't even know it.
Well, over on TikTok, they'll just take it down.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't
I
even get a.
but I'm hearing on YouTube that like they'll hide your video where it's not coming up in the algorithm, and I'm like, well, just tell me the words you don't want me to use, and I won't use them.
Yeah, well, you kind of everybody once you're doing videos over here, you kind of I even try to use YouTube lingo in everyday life because if I start saying the M word and all those words out loud, then I lose, like if I swear in everyday life, if I come on here, I'll start swearing. So I have to like keep it YouTube clean all the time.
Yeah. But I can't tell you how much I hate the word. And I think it's from
I do too. I hate it.
Being in journalism. Like we would never in a newscast say someone was unalived. Like what?
Or schmurder or red rum. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Anyway, well, I think let me see if what else I have for tonight.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking through the chat, but if you are feeling
Rosie, are you feeling better? How's your mouth? I hope you're feeling better, honey.
So you guys had audio issues the other day.
Yeah, and then we were talking, it's weird because we were talking about teeth, my mouth. I have a broken tooth, and then she broke her tooth. Like, I hope I didn't like Metassi her or anything. Give her the evil
energy over there.
Yeah. Oh, it's still painful. Sorry.
Ouch.
Mouth pain is really hard.
Do and collab with you guys because that is like my goal. I love, chatting with everyone, especially people who are here to talk about the case and the facts. I've noticed, my short time here on YouTube, there is drama, and I have no intention of getting involved with it.
I hate the drama. It's one of the reasons I'm having this autoimmune, I think. Rose likes to do craft too, so we'll have to do a crafting true crime kind of something. Mary says yes, they should have shown care for the girls and their mother, not put her down trying to find excuses for CW. I just think that is unforgivable. And Cindy saying, I don't care what you did. Yeah.
Another thing that people don't realize is when Cindy said, and I'm not defending Cindy, but when Cindy said that, she thought that Chris killed Shanann because Shanann killed the girls. People don't know that the Watts family did not find out the real truth until that discovery was released the day after sentencing. And Rob and I were talking about this the other day. Even a month after reading the documents, they probably still didn't, what's the word for it? Understand it. What am I trying to say? Like they were still in denial. Like they may still be.
Oh yeah. I don't know if they're still in denial. I think now they're just trying to
do what they can, maybe, right? Like they're hated people.
I would actually, the people that I would be more interested in interviewing would be Ronnie and Cindy over the Ruchaks, only because I just feel like the Ruchaks have what they have. I don't think their story their story is what their story is.
Yeah.
But I think like
I would like to talk to Ronnie. And you know why? Another reason is Frankie Jr. himself said that Ronnie was very hands-on. He was on Shanann's Facebook page every day commenting and liking and supporting her. There's also pictures of like Cindy and Shanann holding up the Thrive patches. So I think not all of the time things were bad. Sure, there were probably more bad times than good, but Ronnie seems, and you'll see pictures out there. If people do digging, they will see the pictures out there where this family loved their grandchildren. And yes, Cindy loves her son. It's her son. What he did was horrible. I don't even know if Cindy has been able to wrap her head around that Chris really did it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't gauge them because of when they I guess because of who's interviewing them. I have a really hard time gauging them. So, I don't know. I hope they're doing better. They seem to like I felt like they were starting to believe like trying to get answers from Chris when Ronnie was recounting where they had went, I think it was like early 2024 they went and visited him, and he like threw this plate in front of him that had a cheeseburger on and a paper plate, and it was the size of the oil opening, and he was like, tell me how you got the girls through that. But it's also been brought out that like he literally had to break their bodies to get them through that.
Yeah.
There's so
yeah. Or like then there was a theory, did he even put them at the top, or did he open the bottom and let a little oil come out and put them through, like I don't know. Valerie says Ronnie was very sick. I don't know if she means like physically sick or like mentally sick. I know Ronnie was dealing with a lot of mental issues. Openly, he had a drug addiction going on at one point in his life.
Which is such a fascinating aspect to this case to me.
Every person in this case has their own, thing going on. Like even Frankie Jr.
Yeah. He popped into my mind right after that.
Yeah. But I will say, just like, I'm fascinated by Sandy's intuition. I don't know if you saw the Dr. Phil where she said she woke up in the middle of the night and like she knew something was wrong with Shanann, and I'm very fascinated by the whole paranormal.
Yeah, me too. And I believe all that stuff about Sandy. Because she talked about how she like had all her lung issues, and how I think she said she died, or did she have a near-death experience or something?
I don't know.
She got very sick where she came close to it, and I believe all of that. So,
and like that's what I want to talk to her about too. I don't want to sit there and ask her a bunch of questions about Chris or Shanann. I want to talk to her about her intuitiveness. When did it first happen? Like, did she have this at a young age? Did she do things to try to, because they say we all have that ability, but we need to tune into it and practice to be able to
care of that cemetery. Sorry, I didn't mean. Oh, I just interrupted.
No,
sorry. She just really takes care of that cemetery too. So it'd be really fascinating to hear from her, like what experiences she has had while at the gravesite, because she takes immaculate care of that place.
And I'd love to hear about the visitations she's had, similar to Casey and Anthony's, George and Cindy. They've had visitations from Kaylee, Anthony, and that's the reason they don't want to sell the house. They said they really want to sell the house, but they still get visitations from Kaylee, so they're scared that if they sell the house, the visitations will stop, which I don't think they would. I do feel a spirit will go with you wherever you are if you're connected. But I can see where they're too scared to sell the house.
And I would understand that. Yeah, I understand that. I would have that same fear, actually.
Yeah, I wonder if the Ruseks feel the same way, because, we all know that they could move and start a different life, but I bet the memories and the attachment to that home. Carrie says, the gravesite is lovely. I love that they have kind of benches there where you could sit there and talk to them and meditate. and yeah, like the heart that
And the
says our.
butterfly
And
bushes.
my
Yeah.
favorite part is that the Watts last name is not on the gravestones. I think that
Yeah.
was an amazing decision.
I like that choice too.
Yeah, because Shenan is not just Shenan Watts.
Yeah. It was a good choice in my opinion, but but you know, that is the grave site is what Sandy struck my channel on.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard they also have cameras up there because as soon as Chris's family went to go visit, I want to say Frank showed up, and he didn't confront them or anything. He just kind of sat in his car to observe them and watch them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have a live streaming camera to make sure that
Oh,
no
I
one,
think they do. I think they do. I've
yeah,
heard that they do.
just to
Which
make
is
sure no one,
understandable.
takes,
I understand.
yeah,
But you can't tell people that they can't go there and take you
pictures,
can't,
video,
you know,
yeah.
it's a public place. But um I understand. I would probably have a camera up there too, just to make sure no one was going to do anything to it because it's
Yeah.
such a popular case that they probably get a lot of visits to that grave.
Oh, same like with the house, right? Like that house, I'm sorry, but I can't believe that the Miller family even bought that house thinking with 2 children that that was a safe idea. You know you're going to have looky-loos coming and taking pictures of your home. You couldn't give me that house.
No, I wouldn't. I would hate it because I don't like when I see people walking outside my house or
Yeah.
driving slow. I'm like, who's out there?
And the
What are
thing
you
is,
doing?
they didn't even stay there more than 2 years. And here in Georgia, if you sell your house sooner than 2 years, you pay what is the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, you pay pretty much a fee for selling it early. And so I don't know if that's the same in Colorado, but the 2 of them got divorced. And then the house sold again in October of 2024. So I haven't looked up the new owners. I've just been kind of like, I want to respect their privacy, but I hope it's like a couple with no children, because I really hate the fact to think that people are forever going to drive by that house and take video and take pictures.
Yeah.
And I really think they should have knocked the dang house down and made a park for the community. But I know then you're wasting money. But that
But
house
they wouldn't
is
waste
forever
money
going to
like
be,
that.
yeah, it's forever going to be something like the Menendez house. People are going to drive by it and take pictures and.
Yeah, it just is what it is, and if you buy it, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, and I couldn't do it because I don't want people outside of my house.
Heck yeah. I mean, that's weird. And I don't know if you've kind of seen even like the back of the house. Those houses are too close together. Like I would never live in a community like that. I like my privacy. I feel like everyone's up in each other's business, but you literally can pull up behind that house and you're right in their backyard. And that
Yeah.
is to me. I like
Yeah.
what Carrie B said. She said that if she pictured Cece and Bella today, they would be Swifties. That's cute.
I kind of stopped talking about this case for a little while, and I'm getting a renewed interest in it too. And I'm glad you found me over on xoxo. I think he covered the um, interview I did with Cowboy RC over there recently.
Yeah, I think that's what he just, yeah. Yeah, I did something close. Actually, I'm supposed to meet xoxo in person next week because I'm going to Mayo Clinic. And we're trying to kind of figure out, like, maybe do we rent a space in the library to do a live together, or do we rent a conference room at the hotel I'm staying at?
Oh
But
yeah, those are good options.
yeah, I hope we get the time to collaborate because it is cool to meet other creators and
Yeah, it is. And you're from Michigan, right? You're a Michigan. No, you're George. What
I'm
are
in
you?
Georgia, but my family is in Michigan. And Mayo Clinic it's literally like 20 minutes from where he is. So I said, I know this is weird. I'm an internet stranger to you, but we chat on Facebook. And I said, let's meet up. And he's like, let's do it. So,
How
and
fun.
hopefully my health is good. Traveling takes
Oh,
on you too,
yeah. I always have to worry about travel.
Yeah. Get the assisted lane for going through security and all that so you can take your time and people don't push you and make you feel rushed as well.
Oh, I always feel rushed in the airport.
Oh God, Atlanta's the worst.
Yeah.
I actually have to get a wheelchair in Atlanta because it's just too much walking. And people like push you and things like that because they're on the go. I'm reading some comments here too.
I
Yeah,
think
so
I'm
okay,
gonna have to wind things down because I'm starting to feel it.
yeah, well,
My
let's
back is
plan.
starting to bother me a little bit, and I'm just oh, Jamie. We were just talking about you, Jamie. If it's the Jamie I think it is. Is this Dylan's Jamie? Either way, hi Jamie.
Oh, okay, so that's Jamie. Yeah, well, if it is that Jamie, I want to interview you and Dylan, and then maybe Amy, we could all do it together if you're interested in doing it, Amy.
Yes, I need to interview you, or I need to email you, Jamie, and hook you up with some people. And I would, yeah, I offered, I would like Jamie and Dylan to help.
Oh, she says not.
Oh,
No.
not
Oh, I'm
anymore.
sorry to hear that.
Well, hello anyway. And
Well,
if you ever
maybe
want to talk about
hear
your
about
time
what
with
that
him,
is.
if you ever want to unload, let us know.
Yeah, Jamie, we're here if you need to tell us the deets. But Amy, thank you
No,
so much.
actually, I'm sorry that that happened, and I hope you're safe and okay, and everything's going well for you, Jamie. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
it's so good
actually
to
I
see
don't
you.
even know the details of it. I hope
Don't
it's
be sorry at all, she says.
serious.
So it sounds like it was a good thing. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you guys, we're gonna wrap it up. We will be doing more lives. Like I said, we're planning some stuff with Robert, and I want to do some stuff with Kelly from What's the Obsession, and yeah, more stuff with Jennifer. So thank you guys. I do need to just feel better. That's what I really want. I just want to feel
Yeah.
better.
I know, Amy. And I'm starting to do these like meditations on my channel under like the health playlist. And oh my God, when you sent me the other day that you were listening to, I think it was like 1100 hertz, I'm like, she is my spirit animal. I'm like, she listens to the same kind of stuff I do. You guys, I really believe that sound can heal the body.
I think so too.
Calm down. So I'm planning to try to do some more videos like that on my channel where we can just like click it on anytime we need to like unwind and relax.
Yeah, it's important because we talk about some dark topics. So I always tell my people, go look at an animal video, go hug your dog, go do something nice for yourself because this is deep, dark stuff we talk about.
Yeah, and it takes a toll, especially if you're an empath, and I'm an empath. So I'm really feeling for you, Amy, right now.
Okay.
Like, when you told me that you're having a flare up, because I know what it's like. Luckily, right now I'm doing pretty good, but I know those days when you're stuck in bed and it emotionally hurts, not just physically. So
Yeah, because you still want to get up and you feel like, oh, I got to do this and this. Like your stuff doesn't stop having to be done. It just
yeah,
doesn't get done.
yeah, and it hurts all around. So you go get some rest, and I cannot wait to collab again soon.
Okay, thanks for being on, Jennifer.
All right.
Do I call you Jennifer or Jennifer? Jennifer or Jen?
Whatever
What?
you want. Yeah.
Do you mind Jen or do
No,
you like
it's
Jennifer?
easy. It's simple.
Okay, good. Because sometimes Jen just comes out.
Yep. No, it's perfectly fine.
Okay. All right.
Thank you guys, and nice to meet all your new folks on your side. And I put the link to your page on mine. If you guys don't follow Amy, please go over there and follow her and engage with her videos.
Thanks, hon. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so be sure and head over to Jen's page. I will put the links down in the show notes. I will put the links for everything that we view down in the show notes. This is her page. Let me get it back to her cover page so you can see what it looks like. This is her cover page, Crafted Evidence Podcast. And yeah, so head on over there. She collabs a lot, like she said, with Robert from Timeless Mysteries. And thank you guys for being here. Thanks for being so understanding with this autoimmune that I have. It really only hits me really hard twice a year. It happened over Christmas, and it always happens this time of year because what I went through happened at this time of year, and my post-traumatic stress has a muscle memory. So so in a few weeks I'll be much better, I hope. So thank you guys for your well wishes. Just know that you guys mean a lot to me. I love you guys, and if nobody's told you this today, and even if they have, I'm still going to tell you this. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Carefully strumming this old guitar, words rolling out into the fire. Never ask why my heart burned blue.
Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. Helps me go out into the algorithm party out there. Bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me.
Here in the darkness, I hear my cue. Time to find some solitude. Here where my soul bleeds openly, deep in the heart of sin and you. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep.